Today's guest is the Cardinals 2024 12th round pick, Ian Petrutz. After a very strong 3 years in college, Ian is now tearing it up at Palm Beach. Welcome to the show, Ian. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
So you're one of many draft picks joining us. So I can't wait to hear your story today. But growing up in New Jersey, after high school, you decided to go to Maryland in the Big Ten. Staying on the East Coast there. Was that a big decision for you? Were there other offers you had to kind of decide between?
Yeah, so just growing up, like you said, just in like a small South Jersey town where I was training. At the time, I was playing for an organization called Brooklawn, and I was at this point I was like 12, 13 years old, and I just saw all these players from like Gloucester Catholic, which is a really profound high school in South Jersey, going to Maryland. You know, guys like Mike Schwarn and John Murphy, like these just really good players, Drew Wilden, guys from the area going to Maryland. These South Jersey guys, and at the time I didn't even know what like college baseball was. I played little league, pretty much like my whole life, um, and I didn't know what college baseball was, but it was cool. Like, and one day I after school I was in Brooklyn just training, and a bunch of the high schoolers were in there, and Coach Chef, who's now at Virginia Tech, Christian Martin just played for him for 3 years, and he was in there running a camp, and he was at the time the head coach at Maryland, and I just got to be around him, kind of like I was 13 years old, just got to be around him, and I just thought it was really cool. I thought he had a really good plan, and he sounded like he really knew what he was talking about, just in terms of not only the game, but just developing boys into men, and helping them outside of baseball and after baseball ends. And so eighth grade came around, and I still like the only school I ever wanted to like go to really was Maryland, just because of like those experiences and seeing guys from South Jersey. I didn't know outside of Maryland. I didn't even know what other schools were. Like, it would be a lie for me to say that my dream was to play in the SEC. Like, this year I got to play in it. It wasn't. It wasn't a dream come true. That wasn't ever part of my plan. Because I frankly didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
And so, um, eighth grade came around. A video of me down in Lake Point, Georgia, went absolutely bonkers viral. And that night, this was before high school. Like, I was in eighth grade, so schools could contact me. And I
Yeah.
had a bunch of schools reach out based on that video.
Huh.
And my very first phone call just turned out to be Maryland, Coach Swope, who's now the head coach at the University of Maryland.
Yeah.
And he called me. We started building a relationship. And what stuck out to me just was he wanted to know nothing about baseball. Like, he just wanted to know who I was as a person. He wanted to talk to my parents, my brother, my sister. Like, he wanted to know about me as a person.
Yeah.
Um, and then as the other guys on staff started to call me, it was the same way. And so in August, I went down for camp after speaking with them and being in contact for about 3 or 4 months. I honestly just didn't even really give other schools a shout, just because of how good my conversations were with them. Like, it was just awesome. I had immediately felt like this urge just to want to play for them. And I was in eighth grade, so I still had a long ways to go, and a
Sure.
lot can change in 4 years, especially on the college side. Now looking back on it, it's like it's a business, so anything can
Yeah.
change. And so I went down for camp, and after camp, they invited me back for a visit. Um, August 23rd, 2017, took a visit. My first visit, they sat me down, sat my parents down, gave me an offer, kind of went over their plan just for the program, and I really believed in it. I just really, really felt that they were going to be able to do something in Maryland that had never been done before, and I felt like I could be a guy who was the first stepping stone of doing that. And so,
Hmm.
fast forward 4 years, I'd been building a relationship with the coaches. So awesome, like Corey Mascara, who's now at Wake and is going to be a head coach here soon, became a real mentor to me, just teaching me about things off the field like breathing and meditation and how to access different parts of like your brain and body and the mental side of things that aren't easily accessible but can really change the game for you if you do. And so just big pieces there. Coach Papio turned into like a big brother to me. And then I get to Maryland after manifesting with them and visualizing for 4 straight years, like we're gonna do something that's never been done before.
Yeah.
And my freshman year, what happens? We host a regional for the first time in school history. Like we host a regional. The next year, we go to number one Wake. So I got to go to play the number one seed, and then junior year, Coach Vaughn, going into junior year, Coach Vaughn announced he was leaving, and just because of my relationship with them, I decided to go with them to Alabama. But that's pretty much how I got to Maryland.
Yeah. No, so I was going to say, and you kind of jumped the gun there at the end. Your freshman year, batting 324 with 9 homers, 35 RBIs, a 1083 OPS. Very good start to your college career. Sophomore year, the power kind of developed a little bit more. You batted 270, but had 14 homers, 56 RBIs, and 920 OPS. But then going into your junior season, there was a couple summer balls thrown in there as well. But going into your junior season, you made that transition to Alabama. So what was that all about, and why'd you transfer there?
Yeah, so just when the coaches just um, said they were going to leave, I just felt it was in my best interest. Just being, for one, at this point, like I'm not 14 anymore. I know what the SEC is. I've been in college baseball. I've played, and I'm the biggest baseball rat I know. Like I go to games with a book, keep a book, have my
Right
earphones,
on.
earphones. Like I don't like I'm a baseball nerd. I know I can name any college baseball moment from the past 4 or 5 years, and I know it like that. Me and John will be downstairs watching Wheels, and I'll be like, "Yep, I remember this game. I can tell you exactly what happened in the ninth." Like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just grew this like profound love for college baseball, um, and so going to the SEC was cool. Like we got the schedule, and it was like, dang, this is sick. Like you drive over the bridge and you just see this beautiful baseball field
Mm-hmm.
and this beautiful grass. Like I had never played on grass in college. I was in the Big Ten, so everyone had
Yeah.
turf. It was cold. If you wanted to play, you had to have turf, and so like you see this beautiful grass, this beautiful dirt. It's warm all the time, and it's just I don't know. It's just like a dream. Like kind of like baseball heaven. Like
Mm-hmm.
literally what the SEC is. I feel like until you get to the big leagues, obviously, but that's another story. But playing the SEC definitely really cool experience, and I feel like being able to play against that level of competition with the competitors that I was able to play with on my side this year, I think it shaped a lot of who I am as a baseball player and did a lot for me mentally. Showed me what I'm capable of, um, and also just I grew a lot and learned a lot just as a player and a person.
Yeah. Well, you had one heck of a junior year as well. 321 average, 6 homers, 40 RBIs, 927 OPS. But after that junior year, this past season, you decided to enter the draft, where you were picked in the 12th round by our St. Louis Cardinals. Were there any thoughts of going back to Bama for your senior year?
Yeah, the draft was a whirlwind of experience. I didn't know what could happen. Like my power was down this year, which just for easy reasons, like my swing got too flat. Um,
Mm-hmm.
kind of the same thing Corbin Carroll was going through a little bit,
Okay.
and is currently going through. Like my swing just got
Mm-hmm.
too flat. I was hitting balls too low. It wasn't like I wasn't hitting them hard. I wasn't swinging and missing. I wasn't chasing. So I was doing all the things that I needed to do right. I just didn't have as many homers and doubles as I thought I was going to, and
Yeah.
frankly, that's okay. I'm here now, and I love it, and it's just part of the journey. You know, like my
Yeah.
dream is to be a Hall of Famer. It's not to
Yeah.
play in the big leagues. It's to play in the big leagues for 20 years and be a
Yeah.
300 career. So,
Yeah.
um, just step along the way. But after day two, it was kind of a whirlwind. Like I was like, okay, what can we do here? Like in terms of NIL, like what I don't know. But at the end of the day, like I literally have it tattooed on my wrist, be undeniable. Um, and so I woke up for day three morning and I had some calls with some of my best friends and I was like, you know what, like if this happens, like if I get the right number here on day three and like this is what I'm doing. This is the only thing I've ever wanted to do. Like just want to go be a Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm.
I just love playing baseball. I love being in between the lines and being in pro ball allows me to do it every single day, which I think is a no brainer. So
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy draft experience, but at the end of the day, it worked out. So
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know why you were drafted in the 12th round. I think looking at the numbers you put up in the Big Ten and the SEC, the plate discipline you have, the power is there. You mentioned Corbin Carroll. Jordan Walker's kind of going through the same thing right now in our organization, where he came up last year, had like a 17 game hitting streak, and it's been the biggest talking point in St. Louis for the last year and a half. Came up, dominated, was hitting the ball hard everywhere, but just wasn't producing enough power. They send him down, and I think he's still in AAA, and there's something off there where I think they've messed up his swing a little bit. Recently, he's launching it a little bit more, but I'm a guy, and you can tell me if I'm wrong here because you know more than me when it comes to hitting, but I just think naturally, if you're strong enough, that ball's going to carry. Correct?
yeah, 100%. And I just like I don't know. I don't know what the Cards think of this as an org, but I'm such a big believer in just like the guy that's on the mound is trying to take food off my plate. You know, like
Yeah.
he's trying to take away what I'm trying to do for my family. And like I'm the last guy who wants to swing over a ball for strike three and walk back to the dugout. Like
Yeah.
hell no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Like that's not.
Yeah.
I don't know. To me, that's not baseball. Like I think
Yeah.
here in the future, um, I'll probably be sitting down with some of our hitting coordinators, working on a plan to become less flat. Because I don't think at the end of the day my swing and miss is really ever going to change. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I've always had really good bat to ball. I don't know why. I don't know how. It's just always been good. And I think that if I can just put some pieces together, I think it's going to end up all clicking in a good way. And I think my power output's going to skyrocket. Because
Yeah.
whether I hit the ball low and hard or hot, like I would obviously rather hit it high and hard, which right now I'm like struggling to do. But I think it get better as time goes on, and obviously like you see what the Cardinals have been able to do with Victor Scott,
Yeah.
Jordan Walker, and they've been able to like Victor Scott is literally like I feel like I can do what he's doing.
Yes.
He's got tools. I mean, he's a different player, but that swing change that they made with him, he's crushing it right now, and
Yes.
his swing is way better than it did literally 2 months ago.
Yeah.
So
No, his he's trying to dig himself out of the hole that started this season, but the change recently, the last couple weeks, Ryan Ludwig was working with him, and the
yeah,
change he made, I think he eliminated his picking up his front foot. It's more of a tap now,
yeah,
as well. But it's been night and day difference.
yeah,
But jumping ahead for you now in pro ball as a 12th round pick, I've talked to John about this. I talked to Nolan Sparks about this. Being in that day 3 group, you kind of got that underdog story for you, and it seems like you've embraced that so far. Off to a scorching hot start. In 11 games, you're batting 382 with a 1073 OPS and 10 RBIs. We talked about your college career. How has that transition been from SEC baseball, Big Ten baseball, to now being a pro baseball player?
yeah. Like kind of like what I was saying in the beginning, before we started the show is like I feel like playing in the SEC kind of just prepared me for a good amount of what minor league baseball is going to be. Like
Mm-hmm.
this week we faced a AAA rehab guy, and he was 95, 98 with an 87-mile-an-hour slider. And obviously there's differences between him and an SEC guy, but overall, it's what I just faced all spring.
Mm-hmm.
And I know what I can do and what I'm capable of. Obviously, there's different things in there. Like now, I swing a wood bat, not a metal bat. Um, they know how to spot. They can spot it a little bit better. Their stuff just moves a little bit more. The fastball with ride has a little bit more ride. The slider's got a little bit more bite. But at the end of the day, it's just a slight upgrade. Like I haven't really been blown away with the pitching that we've been facing. I think it's pretty similar to what I faced throughout college. Just kind of like what we were saying, like low A is just you kind of don't know what you're gonna get from a guy with a game plan. Especially because I'm a huge proponent of having a plan and using the book to my advantage and using scouting reports to my advantage and kind of using them to just develop my plan and like what I'm going up to the plate looking for. Um, but at the end of the day, the arms haven't really changed, and to me, no matter which level I get to, the game's the game. I've been doing this my whole life. Like
Mm-hmm.
I try not to put too much pressure on myself. It's just baseball, and I just like to have fun doing it. Smile between the lines, good or bad day, doesn't matter. Um, just try to always be the same person, just through and through, and I think that goes a long way.
I think the Cardinals had a plan going to this recent draft because between you and Campos and John and JJ, you guys don't strike out. And so a lot of plate discipline there, and 46 plate appearances so far at Palm Beach. You have 3 strikeouts. So we talked a little bit about that hand-eye coordination, that bat-to-ball skills. But where does that, I don't know, approach, or what's your mentality when going to the plate?
Yeah, I just try to do damage early, like try to get my pitch early and not miss it. It's pretty much like I feel like if I go up to the plate and I'm looking at 2 strikes, I'm just in a bad situation. I like to
Mm-hmm.
swing, kind of like the Alec Burleson approach,
Yeah.
like honestly, kind of similar vibe. Like right now, I'm still having trouble. Like it's only 2 weeks, but I'm still trying to learn the new strike zone. Like I like the ball up, and the
Mm-hmm.
ball that's now above my belt is a ball on the ABS zone. So just trying to learn that and use that to my advantage instead of just swinging at stuff that I really just don't have to. It's literally like the strike zone now is like a keyhole, and I'm not using it fully to my advantage, but it's working because I'm swinging early and I'm not missing my pitches, which helps a lot. And then with 2 strikes, like I said before the show, also like the guy on the mound is trying to steal my lunch. Like
Yeah.
I don't like getting out. I don't like striking out. I think striking out it just gives the pitcher more confidence than he needs, and makes you feel like trash. You go back to the dugout and you just,
Mm-hmm.
I just got out. I just struck out. Like that's no fun to me. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I just like putting the ball in play, putting pressure on the defense, and just allowing my game to talk.
Off the field, you are very open about your faith. So how do you kind of incorporate that into your daily grind?
Yeah. So that kind of just like I was saved last December, and this spring was my first full season, just walking in faith and walking with the hand of Jesus and just walking in the light. And it's been a lot easier. Like I know through good or bad that it doesn't really matter what happens to me at all. Like I'm dead. I'm dead to the world, and like the Holy Spirit is what propels me each and every day, and does everything. Like through from the bottom of my toe to the top of my head, I fully believe that the Holy Spirit is in control of my life and just allows me to go day to day and do things day to day, um, just to glorify God and to glorify the kingdom and just moving the kingdom forward, which helps a lot. It takes a lot of pressure off of baseball because
Mm-hmm.
this isn't like I've said it before. Um, Baseball isn't who I am; it's what I do. A Christian, a follower of Jesus Christ, is who I am. Um, and I think it just really helps. Um, just having that mindset and knowing that the Lord has a plan for me that's way greater than I could ever imagine. So through good or bad, I know that what happens to me is needed, and good days and bad days are both challenges. Good
Mm-hmm.
days, like stay humble, be humble, go about your business the right way, glorify the Lord. Bad day, go about your business the right way, do the right thing, be a good person, and just still give glory to the Lord. Like He allowed you to come out on this field, He kept you healthy, He kept you safe. Um, you having 2 strikeouts and 2 ground balls to the second baseman isn't the end of the world. It's not the end of the day. It's just you play this game every single day, and at the end of the day, you're a Christian every day, and you
Yeah.
just follow Jesus, and try
Yeah.
to be like Him. And the pressure, the anxiety, it just falls off your shoulders. It's crazy.
Right on, man. Yeah. No, that's good. That's very good. Also, with what I've seen from you, and even talking to you in this on the show here, you have a lot of energy, a lot of confidence, and maybe that goes with the question I just asked. But where does all of that come from? Because I asked the same thing to John with his I called it swag for him, but where does that confidence come from for you?
Um, I just always been an underdog. Like I've always kind of done it like my way. I never like growing up. I didn't really have outside help. Um, in the weight room, kind of by choice, but also like didn't want my parents to have to spend money for a trainer or for a hitting coach. I'd rather just go to the gym for 2 hours and figure it out myself and do a lot
Mm-hmm.
of research. Um, and I think that's what's built my confidence is that I know I've literally everything that's gotten me here to an extent. I had self taught like throughout high school. I was my own personal trainer. I wrote up my own plans, my own workout plans. Just doing extensive research, sitting on my laptop for hours upon hours, like in school, in high school, like when the teacher was talking, I was thinking about what I was doing 3 weeks from now, like, and what can I do today to make that goal like happen, and literally just every day, just being addicted to it, watching swings over and over again, like watching Bryce Harper, just the best hitters, Mike Trout, like seeing what moves they make that I can replicate, and emulate, was just something that I was always addicted to, like just what do they do that I can do, um, how do they train that I can implement into how I train. And it's just it took me to college. And then when I got to college, outside help became a little easier. Like you get access to good quality trainers and athletic trainers, strength coaches, hitting coaches. You get a little bit more access to that. But at the end of the day, I think what gives me the confidence is I've always been my best teacher. Um, and I think that's given me like I know that if I fail or succeed, it's my fault. If that makes sense. Like at the end of the day, I know the journey. At the end of the day, I care the most. Nobody is going to care about you as much as you care about like your own success or failures. And that, I
Mm-hmm.
think just believing in that and just like really, really grasping that concept has gone a really long way. And I think that's what like molded my confidence. I also wrestled. I think that had a lot to do with my confidence. Having a younger brother,
Yeah.
I always just took pride in how he looks up to me, and just tried to like be the best person I could be for him. And yeah, I just think all those things like a little bit at a time, and just failing and succeeding, just built
Mm-hmm.
tons of confidence. So
You mentioned Bryce Harper and Mike Trout in there. Are there any? And you've probably taken a little bit from a lot of players, but are there any certain players specifically that you have looked up to or followed or tried to emulate stuff from?
um, currently now, no, but as a kid, like I would emulate certain things like just swings like every day. I would like go into the cage. When I was 13, 14, 15, I swung exactly like Bryce Harper. Like
Yeah.
identical to him. Like huge long lever, huge leg
Yeah.
kick, open stance,
The violent
wild
swing.
finish. Yeah, like I just I literally emulated exactly what he did. And then like 16, 17, or no, like 16 fall, like for one half season, I emulated what Aaron Judge was doing, and then I realized that like, oh, I can't do what Aaron Judge is doing because and I'm not. I just can't do that and be really, really good. And then I kind of transformed like all of these swings that I was watching, like Ken Griffey, Robinson Cano, a little bit of Daniel Murphy, like just watched them all and like built my own flow, like
Mm.
just came up with my own style, and from then on it's just been just about changing that, and just finding things that work, and then listening to podcasts. Like I like a lot of what Alex Bregman does.
Yeah.
Nolan Arenado, I like a lot of what Nolan does. Speaking of in-house guys, like
Mm-hmm.
Nolan and Bregman, I think are two of my biggest inspirations recently and currently. Um, just watching what Alex Bregman does off the field, how he handles his business, who he is as a family guy, his training like techniques and what he does. Like he's a big proponent of 20-minute workouts every day, just to keep the body feeling good, eating right. I think goes a long way. So yeah, just taking a little bit from everybody, and just finding what works for you, and then building your own best plan.
Mm-hmm. Now, this is a question I ask everybody that joins the show, and you can talk about more of the individual side of it or the team side of it. But what are your goals moving forward here?
Yeah. So right now on the plate, I want to win the FSL. Like,
Yeah.
like we talk about it in the locker room every day. Like I want a dog pile so bad. I want a ring. Like I'm trying to add to it. Like, and that's in all seriousness. Like the loss the other day, like I can't even like explain how mad I like. Losing actually to me is like the worst thing that can happen. Just I'm not a proponent of losing at all. Like I would rather go 0 for 18 with 18 strikeouts than lose. Like as a team, and that's just the God's honest truth. Like losing is not something I like to do. So like the current goal right now, is to just keep being where my feet are. Like personally, just keeping my head on straight and just like allowing myself to not get into a slump, not get too high, not get too low. Enjoy my last month of my first season of pro ball. Take it day by day, make sure my body's healthy, and then go win a ring. Like at the end of the day, like I want to win a ring, and that's it. And then long term, I want to win a World Series, like point blank, and then be a Hall of Famer. And those are just the encompassing goals. You have the short term and then the long term. The long term,
Of course.
win a World Series. Even longer term, be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. No, I love that. Ian, I can't thank you enough for taking time out and joining today. It's been a pleasure and a joy to not only meet you and John and Ryan and all those guys, but also watching you guys on a daily basis. And it gives me it's kind of different when you meet the person to where I have a kind of a fan thing going on where I watch you guys a lot, and I cannot wait to see the progress. You all obviously are off to a scorching hot start down there, but I cannot wait to see the progress moving forward. And hopefully, if you're down for it, maybe hop on whenever you hit Peoria and Springfield and all those levels moving forward. But thank you so much for joining, Ian. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you, AJ.